Hello, Randy Rain here. Did you know that escape rooms and haunted houses are big business? There are actual companies that build escape rooms. There are companies who build and teach how to do haunted houses and even so much more. There are companies who sell products for escape rooms and haunted houses. So I have a friend who builds escape rooms, and he's the one that showed me all this stuff. So I asked him, what is something that is missing? And he gave me 3 things. And I've already built them. So the one we're talking about today, I like to call the RelayLink 128. So the problem was presented to me like this. Imagine you're updating or rebuilding an escape room, and there's already existing structure, and you have a button or a trigger that's over here, but it has to activate something over here, and you'd want to do that wirelessly. Well, according to him, there's nothing good out there to do that. So of course my first thought is these little remote control circuits that I always show on here. You could totally hack into these things and make it work, but apparently we're not talking about something that's hacked together. We're talking about a professional module. So that's why I came up with the RelayLink 128. It is a transmitter and a receiver module. On the transmitter you have 3 terminals, 2 for the power and 1 for the switch. It takes 6 to 12 volts DC. All you have to do is bring that switch to ground and it will activate. On the receiver, it takes 6 to 12 volts DC, and the signal turns on a relay that handles 24 volts at 1 amp. Now, if there's any electrical engineers watching this, you're probably frowning at the relay. But apparently, that's what these people use. Because you have to remember, these people are more on the artist side than the engineering side. So it has to be very simple for them. So relays it is. But each one has a 7-pin dip switch on it. And as long as the transmitter and the receiver has the same switching, the transmitter will control the receiver. And there's 128 different positions those dip switches can be in. So you can have up to 128 of these things, and they wouldn't interfere with each other. So let me show you how I made these. So I'm doing all the transmitting with these HC12 circuits. So if you give it a UART signal, it will broadcast that UART signal, because these are transceivers and they both send and receive, which I've done a video on these HC12 units before. So to send the signals and to receive the signal and do something with it, I'm using this PIC chip, which is a 16F18323, and I used Great Cal Basic to program it. Then I designed the PCB and I milled it out on my little CNC machine, which you can see a video on that as well. Then there's not a whole lot to the circuit. I did add in a linear voltage regulator. That's why you can use 6 to 12 volts, and really you could probably go over 12 volts. It really doesn't matter, but you don't want to go too much over, because it's a 5-volt regulator, because both the chip and the HC12 both use 5 volts. And of course, it needs some capacitors as well. There's some jumpers I had to put on it, and I get those off of the excess resistors, because you need some pull-up resistors for the HC12, and I need a resistor for the LED. And then it's the dip switch, the IC socket, and the terminal connection, and the HC12 gets added. And that's pretty much it for the transmitter. In a lot of ways, the receiver is pretty much the same thing. There's a voltage regulator with some capacitors. The HC12, the same resistors, but here there needs to be a transistor to turn on the relay switch, and it's going to need a resistor. Then there's a diode going backwards across the coil of the relay, and then it's still the socket for the same chip, the dip switch, and some extra terminals for the relay, and that's pretty much it. So once the circuits are created, I printed out some little casings for them with just a lid that screws on top. There's access for the terminals and the dip switch, and you have some screw posts so that you can mount it. And I made my own little decals, printed them out on sticky paper, covered it with some sticky laminate, and cut it out. And just like that, you have the RelayLink 128. The switch terminal is hooked to one of the pins on the chip on the transmitter, and when it goes to ground, it's looking at the dip switch and it's getting a binary number based on how the switches are set. It's going to send that as UART to the HC12 module, followed by the code to say on. So if you imagine the pin setting of the dip switch equals 22, whenever you signal it with the switch, it's broadcasting 22 on. You let off of the ground and it goes back to positive. Now it's broadcasting 22 off. I do have an ACK in there to acknowledge that it did receive it, because that's what's happening on the receiving end. The receiving end is looking at its dip switch, and if it's 22 and it's getting the code to go on, that chip is going to make the pin go high that's connected to the transistor and turn on the relay. Then when you let up on the transmitter switch and it's sending 22 off and the receiver is 22 and it gets the 22 off, it then turns that pin off, which turns that transistor off, which turns the relay off. So there it is, the RelayLink 128, and it can be used in multiple ways. So let me show you. So how would you use these things? Well, the first thing, you could just leave the dip pins just straight across like that. But let's just change it up here. Let's go 2, down, 1, down, 2. So 2, then down, 1, down. So as long as the dip switches are the same, we're all good. So the switch here, all you have to do is just ground it. So here are 2 sets of these modules, and I have these 2 set the same and these 2 set the same. So if I ground the switch pin, that one comes on, this one does nothing. I come over and do this. These work, where that one doesn't do anything. Now, if I switch this one to this, so these 2 are the same, but that one's not. So now either one of these can make this one turn on. So you can have 2 transmitters or more operating one. Or you can have multiple receivers. And so now both of these come on with either one of these. But then I can switch that one and there. Now they're diagonal. And you can have up to 128 of these. So my friend and I, who's in the escape room business, we want to put these out, and these are the prototypes. They may need to change some because there's some security that might need to be added in. It really depends on how they're going to be sold. If you sell them as is, there's no security in them whatsoever. But does it really matter? Who's going to go do anything with it? Or you could sell them in sets, and then only the sets work together, but they're still under code. So yes, if you're thinking security, there might need to be some security, but that's for the future. Anyway, if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to see more stuff, hit the subscribe button. I want to thank these people. These are the patrons. These are the people bringing you this video about this thing, and I couldn't do it without them because YouTube sure ain't doing it right now. So I thank these people so very much. If you'd like to become a patron, there's more and everything. So anyway, thanks for watching.